When an alien tried a handbag for the first time, Sci-Fi night in the small town was calm, the streets almost empty, only the flickering lights of a few shops still shining. People were closing doors, pulling curtains, preparing for rest. But above the quiet roofs, something strange appeared, a glow moving slowly across the sky. At first, it looked like a shooting star, but it did not fall. It hovered, brighter and brighter. Dogs barked, cats ran, and people came out to see what was happening. The glow grew larger until finally descended toward the empty street near the market. The ground shook lightly, dust rising as a silver craft landed silently. No fire, no explosion, just a smooth hum in the air. A crowd gathered at a distance, whispering in fear. Is this an invasion? Are we under attack? Then a door opened in the craft, and a tall figure stepped out. The alien was slim, his skin pale like moonlight, his eyes glowing faint blue. He looked round with curiosity, tilting his head, breathing slowly. People held their breath, hiding behind cars and walls. The alien did not carry a weapon, did not roar, did not attack. Instead, he walked slowly toward the street, touching the lamppost as if to study its glow. The silence was heavy, broken only by his slow steps and the hum of his ship. He bent down, picked up a flower from a crack in the pavement, turning it carefully in his hand. It was clear he was not a warrior. He was a traveler, exploring everything like a child. Still, the fear in the people was strong, because no one knew what he wanted. Then something unexpected happened. From a nearby shop, a woman rushed out, holding bags of goods. She saw the alien, froze in fear, then dropped one of her bags. She ran away quickly, leaving behind what she had dropped. It was not a weapon, not food, not treasure. It was a simple handbag. The alien tilted his head, walking toward the handbag lying on the ground. He bent down, picked it up with both hands, and studied it carefully. To him, it looked like some kind of human device, strange in shape and design. The people watched in silence as he turned it over, pressing its sides, pulling its straps. Finally, he found the zipper, pulled it quickly, and jumped back when it made a sound from the handbag. Small items spilled out. Lipstick, keys, coins rolling on the street. The alien stepped back, startled by the sudden noise, then slowly bent forward again. He picked up the keys, shook them, listening to the sound, then dropped them back. He picked up the lipstick, twisted it the wrong way, and a red line smeared across his pale hand. The children hiding nearby giggled quietly, their fear mixing with laughter. The alien paused, then lifted the empty handbag, tilting it this way and that. He placed it on his shoulder, copying the way he had seen humans carry things. He straightened himself, walking down the street proudly with the handbag swinging at his side. The scene was so strange that even the soldiers arriving in trucks stopped in shock. They had expected a fight, a monster, a threat, but instead, they saw an alien wearing a pink handbag. The crowd gasped. Some laughed nervously. Some whispered, "What is he doing?" The alien turned toward the sound of laughter, his glowing eyes blinking. Then he opened his mouth and released a broken sound, trying to copy what he heard. It was not perfect, but it was close to human laughter, a clumsy, awkward attempt. The children giggled louder, covering their mouths, and the alien copied again, his strange laugh echoing. The scene changed from fear to something unbelievable. An alien from the stars had landed, but instead of war, instead of destruction, he had chosen to play with a handbag, as if it was the most important human object he had ever found. The people looked at each other, unsure whether to keep fearing or start laughing with him. And in that moment, history felt both serious and funny, because the first contact between human and alien was not a battle. It was a handbag. The soldiers who had rushed in with rifles ready now stood frozen. They had trained for invasion, for war, for monsters tearing through the streets. But what they saw was beyond their imagination. A tall alien walking calmly with a pink handbag on his shoulder. For a long moment, No one spoke. The silence was heavy and awkward. Then, a child's voice whispered loudly, "The alien is wearing a handbag." The people hiding behind cars burst into nervous laughter. The alien turned toward the sound, tilting his head, his glowing eyes blinking. He opened his mouth and copied the sound he heard. A strange, broken laugh came out. Not quite human, but filled with effort. The children giggled louder, covering their mouths, and the alien copied again. His voice echoed in the street, turning fear into something unexpected. The soldiers looked at each other, confused, unsure whether to aim their rifles or laugh too. One of them muttered, "We can't shoot him, he's carrying a purse." The crowd chuckled louder, the tension cracking like glass. For the first time that night, people were not only afraid, they were entertained. The alien stopped walking, lifted the handbag off his shoulder, and held it out. He studied the straps, the zipper, and the shiny button on the front. He pressed it, twisted it, shook it, trying to understand. Finally, he placed it on his head like a helmet. Standing proud, the crowd roared with laughter, the sound echoing through the empty market. But one child was braver than the rest. A young girl stepped out from the crowd, holding her mother's hand. She slowly walked toward the alien, her eyes wide with wonder. Her mother tried to pull her back, whispering, "Stay here." But the girl refused. The alien bent down, holding the handbag in both hands. The girl pointed at it and said clearly, "Handbag." The alien blinked, repeated slowly, "Handbag." The crowd gasped. He had copied another human word. The girl giggled, opened the bag, and showed him how to put the things back inside. She placed the lipstick, the keys, the coins, all carefully in their place. The alien watched every move with deep focus, then tried it himself. His hands were clumsy, but he managed to copy her actions. The crowd clapped, laughing and cheering at the sight. The alien lifted the handbag proudly, then pointed at himself. He said, "Friend," his voice awkward but clear. The people fell silent, then erupted into cheers. Even the soldiers lowered their rifles completely, their fear fading into respect. The officials who had arrived earlier stepped forward, whispering into radios. They still wanted to take the alien away, still called him a danger. But the crowd shouted back, "He is not dangerous, he is learning." The people had already made their choice. They would protect him. The alien looked at the girl, then at the crowd. He lifted the handbag high, then held it out to the girl as a gift. But the girl shook her head, smiling, pushing it back to him. She whispered, "It's yours now." Her eyes shining with kindness. The alien tilted his head, confused, but then slowly nodded. He placed the handbag on his shoulder again, standing tall and proud. The people laughed, clapped, and cheered. This alien was no enemy. He was becoming one of them. The crystal he had shown earlier glowed faintly again. The hologram rose into the air, showing Earth and another shining planet. A glowing bridge of light connected the two, pulsing like a heartbeat. The crowd gasped, realizing what it meant. Two worlds united. The alien touched his chest, then pointed at the people. He opened his mouth and said slowly, "Together." The girl repeated happily, "Together," and the crowd joined her. The word echoed through the night, louder than guns, stronger than fear. The soldiers lowered their eyes, ashamed of their weapons. The officials stepped back, realizing they could not fight against this moment. The people had chosen friendship, laughter, and connection, and nothing could break that choice now. The alien bent down again, holding the girl close, in front of everyone. He wrapped his long arms around her gently. It was not a handshake, not a treaty, but something greater. It was the first hug between human and alien. The people gasped, then tears filled their eyes. The soldiers stood quietly, their hearts moved by what they saw. The alien whispered a word softly, broken but clear, "Home." The crowd froze, then erupted in cheers, claps, and shouts of joy. The girl hugged him tighter, whispering, "Friend." The alien laughed again, that strange clumsy laugh. But this time the crowd laughed with him, For the first time in history, humans and an alien were laughing together. And the thing that had started it all was not a weapon, not a crown, not a throne. It was a simple handbag. The night sky above sparkled with stars. The ship behind him glowing faintly, but in the hearts of the people, something brighter was shining. This was not a fairy tale, not a princess story. This was something far greater. The story of laughter, kindness, and connection.